FaZe Clan riding into the server here at the ESL Pro League, and it's time to get this game underway. Maybe not who we expected, but we are all waiting with bated breath to see what FaZe are going to do. Twist back in a FaZe jersey. It's crazy.
Like he never left.
Like he never left. The swap, the Elige Twist swap happened just like in slow motion with a couple stages in between. Wild. Fast play in towards B. There's no one here. FaZe maybe not aware of who's supposed to be playing this one because they've got no presence on it. Brokey still going to be able to collect the kill. Swinging back in, but 3D Max are wasting no time. And a Massacre up close now falls to Twist, who cannot hold on. So 2-on-2 in the post. Bomb ticking away. And the dance on top with Kerrigan and Rain. The old vets working as a duo one more time. Gravity. Gonna have to fix that in my brain. Making some moves, making some noise. Rain over top of Thomas. Can't find the killing blow, but body shots will be enough. Time enough for the defuse. And it's like he never left.
Or started off there already with a clutch.
This doesn't look like cash!
What year is it?
It's starting to look like Taz.
It doesn't. This doesn't look like cash. What map is this? Never played it before. I think was what he said.
What is this map? Never played it before!
Oh man, what a start there. It did feel like they were kind of caught in between right there, right? You mentioned it. They were all rotating in on the P side there, and it almost felt like they were still trying to sort out their positions.
It is a good point. FaZe haven't played Train since April the 6th. Oh my goodness. Working it back into the pool, perhaps mixing things up, changing things around. We'll see how much of a handle they have on it with Twist now in the roster. Maybe the urge to change, but Maka dealing out headshots. Doesn't care what map we're on. Dunkers are all they need. Rain will not be able to silence them in this round. Nothing doing there. Maka answers back. You want to chirp after a pistol? Well, Maka will bide his time.
Yeah, he gets the AK right back. They run it back here. This is the intensity that 3D Max have been bringing all throughout this event, without question. One of the quickest teams on T sides. I don't think that's even in question here, and they're going to bring that same level here. And it's about, you know, again, FaZe being prepared for this level of aggression. They have to do so on a map that, as you mentioned, they haven't played here since April. So that is a concerning factor here. But the Deagle out of Kerrigan is a great opener. And Gravity turning the corner there, keeping things nice and level. See if they keep up the pressure here with that advantage that they do pick up, or at least equalizer. They have an A-side stack, so being careful not to jump the gun. It's 3D Max just yet.
There's no reason to get hasty. You got a minute 20. You've got plenty of util to try and make this happen. You can throw some fakes, try and draw them, manipulate them. That's exactly what 3D Max is doing just now. FaZe reacting to seeing the util on A without presence by shifting the bodies inner. So they're trying to anticipate capital A here, but as we can see, 3D Max really have not made the commits. Picking up some extra nades back in spawn. Now setting up some outer plays. Looking like they're gravitating towards Ivy at the call of their captain. And that kill for Body. It's a nice find. Frozen was going looking for a little information, trying to figure out what was coming their way. And while Body will deny the lack of anybody with him, it's a FaZe will shift the second player to defend the outer yard.
Super careful about this round here. And
full wrap.
as you said, it was well put together. They are wrapping in towards this B side. Kind of a surprising move for 3D Max with a bit of limited time left. Got to be careful. Make sure you're able to get those numbers punched in, and that's going to help out in a big way. Maka not hesitating on clearing off the C position, another one following it up, and it is just Twist left here, but can't deny the bomb and can't really make much out of that position inside of Heaven. 3D Max get past the force spine, will be able to make some statements on their T side already.
Those statements? Perhaps you should have played this map since April. Maybe that's the statement.
Get some reps in.
Get some reps. Get some knowledge.
Practice.
Who was the loss to Astralis back in April, and then they just said, you know what, we're actually not going to touch it. We lost to who?
Might be a ban.
How about that?
We get one of those to start off a veto, so might as well use it. Didn't use it this time on train. Feel like they have something on 3D Max here, but I do feel like their T-sides can be so deadly on this map because of how quickly they can play things out. If you're FaZe, you are expecting these rounds to really draw out. 3D Max like to get stuck in early on those gun rounds.
No, Kerrigan brought up a great point. Where is Cash? Give us Cash, please.
You like Cash?
Look, I'm not saying it's going to help North America, but it can't hurt at this point. We need something.
Fair.
It used to be a pretty good map for the region.
He's been taking a liking to overpass and train. We just got to get better on it. Got to start winning a little bit more. But we do like to play it. Add Cash into the mix, and we got ourselves a nice little trio of additions.
Gravity. Sucking them on down to dirt. Doing a great job of that. Extra money made off of the Mac 10. Cash rolling into the bank as 3D Max have made short work of just about everything since the pistol. And I mean, they're not hyped. They're not chirping. They're not excited about this. This is business as usual.
This is what they expect here. I think they know the going can get tricky on these T sides, so getting past the easy rounds with some good discipline and thought out executions, exactly what you're hoping for. I think when you see these gun rounds come into play, that's where you're going to see the intensity from 3D Max. So, and as you can see, a little bit of pressure put on the T-Con space there. A lot of emphasis on Ivy right now for the squad. 3 players starting it early, looking for the challenge up against Kerrigan. They're going to move past that smoke. That's not going to be respected at all, but blinded up here. Kerrigan trying to transfer the spray. Just so much damage. And 2 players ready to react off the back of Kerrigan's information. A 4v4. Able to avoid the, oh no, exercise. He will be dropped eventually. Ray just keeps on spamming. Never giving up there, and Exorcist will fall. Now what do you do here? You've lost your presence early. The big punch towards Ivy is dealt with, and
they're still wary that someone slipped through. I mean, you could see Frozen was checking that, so they're not 100% confident, but now Broky's taking up the post, so feeling a little better about it. He can focus his thoughts inner. It's 50 seconds on the clock. There's time enough to work with, and there is no more choke point util for the CTs.
Starting to clear out Ivy, though, right now here, and you're going to see, at some point, likely a bit of a jump back over towards this B side, depending on the timing,
flanking.
Though.
He's on a mission. He's on a little bit of an adventure. Does he go through with this? Did he come back? He's going to go through with it.
Yeah, you
30
can see the
seconds.
rotations off the back of that. Broky's joining up.
Does mean it's going to be a long time before he can actually get through. Gravity trying to play the edge of this smoke, leaving a little gap in it, but Lucky needs to get that ball down. Oh, man. And Frozen is familiar with that particular trick. Couple kills from Lucky, a third found as well, and now a clutch. And now that positioning comes back to cost because Rain has to cover so much ground just to get into this. His position now revealed, element of surprise gone for a little bit of chip damage off that HE. A head spotted. But Lucky snaps around in time, and Rain playing with the ladder cannot get the element of surprise. Lucky goes nuclear.
I mean, that was just such a casual clutch for him, too. They're still not popping off. They're able to pull through.
Man's chilling.
With the 1v3 right there, I mean, had to find his teammates getting traded out there, lost him quickly, but when you get that luxury of knowing exactly where Rain's flanking from, and that element of surprise is removed, that clutch becomes so much easier for Lucky. He takes full advantage of that information. And it's a dominant start here. HE is doing damage early, but scaling from Gravity. Already got caught by Rain. Able to use that ladder to full effect. Lucky looking now to fill the position. Try and create some gaps here, and these pistols are ready to deal with the pressure. So much attention has to be drawn up. It's a shooting gallery for Lucky. Has to fire all over. A couple of kills start to fill the feed here. Frozen next at bat. The trades are quick, but FaZe can't sustain with the pistols. It's just Kerrigan in a 1v2.
And Lucky again, picking up the pieces, but this time he's not going to be the be-all, end-all. Shots through smoke, and Maka stands strong. I felt like they just had a gentleman's agreement to line up and shoot bullets through and see who lands first.
That's what it's feeling like right now. Back to the olden days there. A little bit of turn-based trading. It kind of flared up from the very pistol.
The real olden days, the days of like musket warfare.
Yeah, I reload now.
Load! Fire! Amount of smoke on site could have been musket line.
Pretty good at that, right? I assume.
There was this guy. You might have heard him. He's got a big old tomb in Paris. But Gravity's still building his legacy. As a tactician, it helps when your Opera gets the first kill. That makes everything a lot easier. Kerrigan gonna try and fix for this problem and somehow catches Gravity looking the wrong way. Trade wasn't quite there, spacing a little awkward, and now they want this kill on Gravity, but Rain's hunting forward. Now they fight together. And XFC's with too many targets, he could do some damage, but he cannot keep the bomb under control. So now Frozen wants to take the space, wants to chew up all this real estate, and delivering headshots will have exactly that. Body is totally out of position. He was supposed to be the extra element, keeping their options open. Meanwhile, all his teammates gone. Means he's got to do it all himself, but he does have time. 50 seconds to try and put together the pieces of this round. He has information generally about where Frozen's playing around. He does not know what Twist has gotten up to.
Every round's just been a bloodbath here for these two teams. And finally, FaZe able to come out on top on these trades. It feels like it leaves Body in such a desperate position. This cutoff, good enough for the information. We'll see if Body can survive it. Shouldn't expect Twist position. Back turned.
He slipped past him, though.
Get seen.
He's gone past him. Twist repositioned and as such gave up his angle, and I don't believe has the information here. So 20 seconds actually to give him the time, but this means Twist is going to play to deny the plant. Body has to challenge his sight lines. He knows that time pressure alone gives it to him, and so Twist plays the patient game. He was the wild card shuffled into the deck, and Body had no idea he was still on the board.
But to survive there. I mean, it's FaZe going all in on this play towards Ivy. They needed to deal with the early pressure. And while they continue to give fights to 3D Max, doing so with the full roster, the collapse, dropping the bomb, knowing where this round was starting and how it had to finish. It's a good way to patch up some of these early deficits they've been facing.
Still limits though, no op. Still prime opportunity for 3D Max to crack through this defense early to limit them, keep them from building up. If FaZe can sustain here, we got a ball game. A train game? Train ball.
That'd be fun.
Trying to think about how
to
you
really add much like variables to that.
Yeah, everything would have to be on rails, right?
Yeah. I guess it'd kind of be like foosball, you know? Foosballs.
It could be done. You could just have like, I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking you have a board, right? You have trains all the way around the circle, all pointing towards the inner. And you put a ball, you drop that, and the trains have to zoom up one at a time to hit the ball? I'm not sure. We're going to workshop this one. 3D Max is going to workshop some control. Gravity not going to be able to get that on the A side, but he might hold presence here as a little bit of a fake thrown out. Good damage done, though. Frozen holding far back, and now his teammates can get involved in the action. Twists, ripping heads from shoulders. This is looking great for FaZe. There is just one man. Well, this might be an exercise in futility. XRCs will have to tuck in for a save.
Not going to be able to give this one much more juice here. Have to call it a save. 3D Max trying to throw a little bit of deception, and Gravity getting shut down so early just forces their hand towards a B site in which FaZe are playing passive, and they peek together. Able to unify their efforts. FaZe looking good to get back on track here for the CT side.
Train track.
These should be good.
Maybe one of the tracks around a circular board with the ball dropped in the middle.
And so the outer rings are how you have to kind of defend. The ball
Maybe you have one that's circling around like your goalkeeper.
Kind of like Pong.
And then they're all going in
Yeah.
to whack the thing.
Kind of like, it's like a Pong type game.
You could do Pong.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen if... Okay, if it's a video game, you wouldn't have this issue. But what happens if you lose momentum and the ball's in the middle? I guess it's like foosball where you have a dead ball.
It's a frictionless surface.
Oh, okay. So we're doing this in a vacuum.
Yeah.
We're going to space. Then I feel like we're really...
We gotta have
limiting
trains
ourselves with
turned on the
rails.
dime as well, so that's gonna be pretty tricky.
This could get wild. Body. Great opener. Here's where the limits were showing for 3D Max, and that makes it a lot easier to build your path. No op still, I will point out as well for FaZe. So we'll see when Brokey chooses to bring that to bear.
Oh, such a surprising move. Need a trade here, can't find it. Frozen holds up for 2 somehow. The opportunity for 3D Max to take full control of this round is instead Frozen walking away with full health here. How do you recover? Exorcist with a chance.
He might be overlooked. There was a clear catch timing, but obviously he doesn't know.
Still trying to challenge this B site right now. Frozen still at the helm. Keep feeding the hot hand. Another one. Gonna give him a go. Just had to pick up the gun, but shows the bomb. Now Exorcist trying to work his way through. Kerrigan in a tough head-to-head wins it though. 3D Max with a man advantage and a chance for much, much more, but Frozen ices out the round.
And you don't even have armor here, so it's not worth trying to put together a save on this. Surely.
How did he not have... Did he... What?
He sacrificed for a teammate here.
Oh, okay, I see.
To make it happen. Retrieve that teammate's gun. Just a nice guy. And unfortunately, that lack of armor makes that particular engagement quite difficult indeed. Aim, meet, punch. Timeout. Meet the server. As you know, wants them to know what he knows.
That's tricky. But you know, letting them know. 3D Max, I mean, again, man advantage right there. You can see a vision around trying to isolate that duel, but it's so discombobulated onto Frozen. He's able to manage isolated fights onto both of them. So what could have been just them coasting in through another round, probably a 3-man save for FaZe from that point forward, is instead Frozen walking away, flipping that round on his head.
I will say, slow peeking into the B anchor. Usually not a winning way. So spacing may be an issue there, maybe wanting for a flashbang or a smoke or something just to change those sightlines up to adjust the algorithm there.
It's also where I think 3D Max's style can come to haunt them there. They are very opportunistic on their T side, and that can lead to a lot of man advantages being lost here. Almost one gained though off the HEs. Rain taking some flak here, and Twist taking some forward angles. Tech 9s, the AKs reign supreme. And Rain just dodged, locking in bullets there. Twist with the finisher. And this round up in dust before it even gets started.
It is nice to see Rain. It just feels right, man. It would have been so strange to look at this line of 5 PCs and not see that smiling Norwegian face. Bootstrap Howie right there. Back for one more ride. Nearly 10 years. Crazy the longevity he's had as part of this roster. I mean, back in their initial days as Kingwin, into Gamers 2, into FaZe, it's always been Rain. Eternal. Like the weather in England.
Good up to brighten up the skies here for FaZe. That's what he did in the last round, man. It's really cool to see it. Like you said, it'd be a wild sight to see this roster without him. The reality that they're facing in the future, but for now, you're able to still rock with the squad and Twist instant onto Maka. Lucky looking for an answer, but fighting Ghost now. No one around the corner anymore. 4v5 manufactured here. 3D Max stalled out. Get more flak there with the HEs. Having to somehow unify this setup. So split up right now. 2 inside a pop. 1 trying to find aggression out towards this B side. A little bit of deception, but the play has to lean in on this A side.
Twist going to be the first to receive them. It's Kerrigan with responsibility for checking T-Con. Rain is that element out towards Ivy. Here comes the motion. Smokes to close the gaps, to give them a little bit of room to rumble, and now they're getting close to that train car, but Twist sending bullets through said smoke. Catches the first toll. Lucky's gained ground, but not for long. Quickly rebuffed here by FaZe, and this one is good for a 6th. Now you'll note, FaZe aren't exactly chirping, they aren't exactly popping off. That's because if we look at the broader picture here, even if this does in fact end as a 7-5 half, that's a pretty good start for 3D Max to make meat of it when they swap sides. So FaZe know they're still facing an uphill climb.
Yeah, gonna have to bring in a pretty strong T side, show some of that depth that they're able to bring, and that's a question of whether or not they have that depth.
Ops out.
As if for the second time, the first time he brought it out, he got just dismissed. There's an instant pick from Maka. Still a recovered round, but second time he's going to bring it out. Look at him give them a lead heading into that second half, something that I would say is necessary for FaZe. They want to have some smiles on their faces.
Nice catch. Rain peering over in towards T-Con. Gets them started early here. That's what they're looking for. And this time, Brokey going to make the impact that gun felt. Good kill coming through. That was a huge risk, but Maka sprays down 2. Blind firing. Picks the right spot. And now body creeping around the lip. Rain looks away at the wrong moment. Timing brutal here to leave it into a clutch. Maka and Kerrigan dancing with death, and Maka's crept forward, which means that he's going to know Kerrigan's backed away, can slip through Z. Anticipate this particular maneuver, give themselves a lot of time to plant this bomb and choose this spot.
Rain, rather Kerrigan gonna have to use some of that full utility that he has alongside of the kit, but already has to face. I mean, Maka right around the corner. Is Kerrigan gonna expect this? Goes unnoticed right there. Maka gonna walk away with the equalizer here. We're knotted up at the half.
Oh, it's good to see that. It's good to see a little slapsies between Kerrigan and Rain for what might be the last time for a long while. It is damn good to see that, even if it's not so good for FaZe fans to see this split at the half. Pretty good situation for 3D Max as they take up the defense. They've got the Doolies here. If they could start well, get the economy under them, we might be seeing FaZe in the rearview mirror here on this train, which, considering this is their first match since April, maybe not the most surprising thing. Still, though, Rain lighting the way, drenching 3D Max with bullets.
So many different ways to get through that setup, and they figure out the right one, forcing them further and further back here. Absolutely no damage done out of these pistols from 3D Max here, and the cutoff here. Lucky no one, he needs a headshot, 12 HP, feeling the pressure. Twist just selling the attention right now, and the walkout towards this A side should be happening soon. Now Twist falls, but it only leaves extra seats on this A side.
It's got to be a Magic. He's got to be a hero, and he's already dinked up, and bullets through smoke finish him off. Just no chance there. Twist was just selling the fake, and he had such success with it that by the time his teammates execute, there's just not much left. Maka, last man, will get an assassination on Rain, but at this point it seems like he's thinking more about damage than he is about any potential to impact the round, and how can you blame him? Out of position, out of health, no kit, no time, no chance. FaZe find a pistol they need. A killer one, perhaps.
Yeah, just want to instantly land all of these shots here. Started landing the headshots out of the Glocks, and Rain to kick it all off there. Have that impact in the pistol. That double dually setup, I think, is one of the biggest challenges for T sides to deal with on these pistol rounds, is actually figuring out ways to get towards that B site in general. And flashbang setup, conviction on the peaks there from both Rain and Brokey set the tone.
We did have a very critical suggestion coming through from J&Z there about our train board game construction.
Okay.
We don't necessarily need to go frictionless or into space. We can make it like an air hockey table and have air propelled through to keep the thing floating one way or another. Kerrigan going to be hitting these pucks into his own goal, it seems, but he's got teammates behind him for the assist. He did get his. That is true. He got his. Frozen got all the rest.
Nice. How generous of Kerrigan.
I will be accepting submissions for the design of this port game. The key element is that everything must be controlled with train cars, preferably remote control ones, and they're hitting some sort of a ball and
more
or
into
puck.
this idea as we go along.
Please send us your mock-ups to the EPL mailbag at efg.gg. I think there's also a DHL mailbag at efg.gg. I'm not sure which one's more current. I don't remember things. But what I do want to know is what you guys think. Send us some beautiful drawings. I don't know if you're going to use Paint, Blender, could do some 3D mock-ups, could make a hand model, make a model out of it. Anyone got model trains around? See what we got. We're cooking something here, Cole.
Yeah, I think we're onto something big. So could FaZe.
If your design is chosen, we will give you 5% ownership of our port game company. Seems like a good deal.
We're the idea guys. We get the money.
That's the way the world works, man. Needing some idea guys here, perhaps for 3D Max, to get this round working. Right now, the idea seems to be read and react to whatever FaZe is going to throw your way.
3 players in towards Ivy. A little bit of a pack system. This makes sense for FaZe. Calling some loose structure, but letting these firepower pieces go unleashed.
It is Gravity who needs the first information off of this. There's the spot, goes 1 for 1. That sets up Exorcies, though, who can line up 2 more. Now the bomb drop. Time an issue, and players out of position to try and recover this package, even if they get past the man in hell. There's one more hurdle to overcome. That's Mr. Body, who holds the line all under one, and Body will allow no more ideas about this round.
Trying to work their way through Ivy. Again, a bit of a challenging position to take advantage of. You can see how many angled advantages there are for the CT side, so you might be able to trade off that first fight, but Exorcy's tucked into a corner. I mean, the choke point that he has to hold is such a narrow line, it's almost impossible to miss with the A1S. And that's what creates those big advantages. That's why it's so difficult for the T side to work through Ivy into that A side. And good positioning from 3D Max. Sets a tone for these gun rounds here. Things going to get a little bit more challenging if Kerrigan can't start to make some differences here with the Tech 9. Takes a while to go down and does some damage before he heads out. Gravity doesn't want to fade away, so he's caught with his P2000 to defend up against these AKs. And he will topple over as well. FaZe turn it up to 10 here, and Maka with the op trying to save this round from getting too far out of control, but stepping into the limelight. Twist will shut it down. Exorcy still on the scene here. Able to thread in some more damage with its A1S.
He's been the backstop in a couple of these rounds already. That last piece, without whom the site may crumble. But finding the kills and staying alive most critically. Now keeping the doubt in the minds of FaZe. They might concede this bomb plant, but the trick is the round. And 3D Max understand the stakes. Frozen's going looking. They've got time to play with.
So making sure that nobody's for close. Security in this post plant. That's the big challenge here. So unsure of where these players are. They're backed up into a wall.
They're both working as duos. It's all going to come to a head here in Z. Everybody's on the line. And it's spray transfer. Not expecting the second XSCs. Once again, the backstop that 3D Max require.
Another critical two-piece coming through from XSCs. Walking back-to-back right there. That's the strength in numbers for both of those squads. It's just that FaZe don't expect that unity in the 2v2. Despite the strong opening here, FaZe gaining a lot of ground here early. Exorcist is shutting these rounds down once again. Now they know a luxury on the defense. Old school.
Exorcist is a bit of a buffer stop. That's a train thing. They did just have to look that up.
Is that for slowing things down?
It's that the little thing right at the end, a buffer stop or a bumper stop, right at the end of a rail where it's got like the little these things, buffer stops. Yeah, twists. It's gonna run right over them and into the station. He's causing chaos, but teammates for 3D Max able to stop these runaway cars before it gets too dangerous. They want to hunt up Gravity, knowing that if they could isolate this fight, it might give them a better chance, but they're going to leave him alone for the moment, fighting towards B instead. Lucky dink, but XSC's there to stack up two. The bumper stop coming through.
Nicely done right there. Good for two. It seems like a specialty of his so far, last 3 rounds.
That's a good number to be good for.
Yeah.
You're like, consistently good for
like
2 in a Counter-Strike game. That is some winning CS right there.
That's right where you want to be. Not too happy about that. But hey,
we're not seeing the chirping body that we had the other day.
Yeah. Which again, Body was kind of doing that as his teammates were doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah, he wasn't having the best of games individually, but he knew he was making it hurt outside the server. Right here, he is putting through some good numbers. Has had big impact here in the server. Gravity trying to lead by example here, sending the troops a flashbang. Maka also gaining a lot of information. Taking T-Con control. They've fought through box halls here. Trying to fight for every part of this map. And now they've got Ivy as well here. FaZe finding themselves locked out of these positions, but trying to draw out that utility. So the utmost importance here before you can get your execute off. What's left here is 2 flashes, a smoke, and a molly. So not the best tools for FaZe when they finally want to pull the pin on this attack.
Comes that pin pull. Players just on the edge of the smoke, looking for this fight with Lucky on the fade. Are they prepared for him to be this up close? Flashman to try and get out. First player rebuffed. It's an AUG out in the field of play. Don't see those very often anymore, and right now, it seems like it's all coming the way of good old 3D Max. That's a Crim special right there, the AUG on train.
Yeah. You know who just got 2 again?
Good for 2.
He's keeping it up.
Good for 2 exercise.
Argon Train is a fun one.
Buffer stop bad boy.
Yeah. That's a cool nickname right there. We gotta get that one trending. Train-based nicknames.
Train-based nicknames. It's my buffer stop bad boy right there. 3D Max looking to put FaZe in the rearview mirror. Do trains have rearview mirrors? That probably doesn't work. There's a lot of train cars behind you now that I think about it. Kerrigan, though, Making some noise, making this interesting, getting himself a rifle, losing teammates, needing to do it himself perhaps.
Ooh.
And as he wanders out, he finds himself a bit disoriented. The fact that Lucky's bullets will not aid. This is the bomb, this is the round. And Twist will keep the round in doubt. He could make his way in. There's no plan B. This forces them to spread out. But body to Brokey. To bad options for this man in Twists. No hope, no chance, no room. And we may just be inching towards a close. Pulling into a station here on Train.
Yeah, timeout coming through from FaZe here. Feeling like they're a little left out. Some of these purchases also not been fully in the picture here. Feel like some of these rounds have been left with lacking utility. Tough spots to be putting things together. So what do we do here for FaZe to get back on the board? You got a full buy. You got the utility. Do we have the execution here to get some rounds on the board and slow down the momentum of 3D Max, because they're full steam ahead. They're shoveling coal into the furnaces. Old school.
I didn't realize you were there on the server.
I'm always there. You can see me right there. Yeah.
It's a whole lot of coal. Chugga chugga choo choo.
A pretty useful mineral.
Nice swings from body, takes the initiative here, but Maka right behind. That was bold, and now opportunity's been created, and Frozen will keep those options open. Limiting the ability to work around on the periphery, Exorcist needs to be the man. If he's good for two, now would be the time for it, for sure. And he slid past Twists. Oh my.
Oh.
Does he think to check back? Gave it a look, but I think Twist was already past the smoke. This has gotten real weird.
Yeah, look at the bum.
He's thinking that someone's got to be... What? Where? How? And indeed, Twist finds the flank, eventually brings it through. Complete confusion there for Exorcist as he was just wondering where the hell they'd got to. Too many things to cover. And so we are going to see our first save in a very long time coming through from 3D Max.
Yeah, that's a interesting point of attack right there. I think if you're 3D Max, you saw that timeout being called and you wanted to say, hey, whatever game plan you had coming through, whatever Kerrigan had called out right there, we want to make sure that they get nothing for free. And so 3D Max just throw aggression all over the map again. This time, it will be punched back, though. Forced off and FaZe off the back of this timeout. Have a little bit of magic. Gonna be able to get their first gun round on the board here.
Yeah, there's a saying I've heard.
What's that?
That rain on Train makes it neatly back to sweet aim.
Rain on Train makes it back to sweet aim.
He's here, isn't he?
Train.
May not have necessarily been the plane, but it's working out.
Thank you, Rain.
Keeping it fighting here. And for a team that's barely played the Train of late, might be going to plan. Kerrigan nearly puts out a teammate. And this one's not starting any better now that their eyes have cleared. Twist trying to create space, but no one's coming along for the ride. And it seems like this might just be a shutdown, calling the faster play, but Frozen has different ideas for a moment. He's melted. All to Brokey now, rifle in hand, overwhelmed from every direction. A USP to find the final shot and put 3D Max onto map point.
This feels like a bit of a classic Kerrigan call right there when you finally are able to strike. You want to do it while the iron's hot there, so continuing to fight forward and try and take some space here with the all-out play out of T-Con. It's just the issue is there's so much utility that 3D Max toss in. The flashes that stall them out. You saw the conviction that they played through T-Con. Just to be shut down while fully blind, almost, you know, putting bullets into your teammates right there. So it makes this T-side so tricky. It just feels like those sort of plays are now impossible. They're so challenging. The HEs that are tossed in are so effective and Lucky.
Oh boy, Lucky.
He likes to get stuck in right there. Flashbang gonna go deep. He hears the footsteps and doesn't see Lucky.
Perhaps
on scene as well.
living up to his name a bit in that one. To not get punished.
Oh.
Base. Kerrigan spotted a knee, but no more. Flicking around, trying to make the inroads. Down he goes. And it's Lucky who's shutting down the play. Advantage for the moment. Good for two. XFCs has two opportunities here. The buffer stop comes into play as Frozen tries to get that bomb over towards a plant. But it's still this man in hell. And he is certainly stopping any momentum out from FaZe. Body on the last, and that is 3D Max with a compelling victory here on Train, commanding once the half switch came through. We knew it might be the case, and FaZe taking a risk in the veto will not pay off here.
Yeah, trying to switch things up here, you know, maybe playing without that pressure, but definitely getting stunned here in the opening stages of their actual in-server performance. It's 3D Max that show up with the success, get an opportunity to, you know, start off on this T side as well, and they take full advantage. It was, you know, plenty of T side rounds when they show up with that defense, the structure of this roster, the quick rotations, the availability of protocol here from 3D Max to toss in that early utility, shut down any fast game plans that FaZe had in mind out of that A side, and not a lot of options when you can't take that space. Again, it's what makes these T sides so difficult on this map.
Massively challenging, massively challenging. And we did see some individual moments to pop off, some good feels, but ultimately, you should have always known this was going to be a little bit interesting. Maybe there's some masterclass ideas to bring through, but considering the chaos that's been around who was actually going to play for FaZe here, you wouldn't imagine it was the best environment to be cooking on a map that you haven't touched in 6 months. And sure enough, we do see that come to fruition. Now, that being said, with that context, moving forward, it might be a little bit better here for FaZe. I don't think we should count them out of the series by any measure after this map.
No, we're able to play it close there. It showed some of that success, showed some of the clutch factor, even showed, I feel like, some decent calling on that T side for the pistol with how they worked through that. And then, of course, the gun round that they went and shutting down 3D Max signature aggression. So if they play on a map that they do have a little bit more reps on, a little bit more history on, I think it should be more comfortable here for this FaZe side. But again, you know, 3D Max are picking up where they left off from that stage 1 performance.
I've got to slide my way in here. I'm getting cut off in this beautiful sewer tunnel of ours. I mean, they might need to go...
You're looking like a lurker.
They might need to go dredging for answers here. Perhaps the sewer tunnel is a good place to find them. But FaZe down, definitely never to be counted out. Still 3D Max looking comfortable, 3D Max looking good, 3D Max hoping they can get this done with 2-0. We'll find out if they can after this.
Hi, this is Basement Dweller's first advertisement. And our second drop is, it's up, actually. If you're seeing this, it's up. It's available on the ESL shop. We had our first go at a jacket, and I'm really proud of it. I've always had an interest in clothes, but, you know, seeing behind the scenes how the sausage is made has been a lot of fun. And if you like the clothes, tell me. If you hate the clothes, tell me, but try them before you slag them off. I think they're really comfy. So yeah, that's my advert. I'm gonna try again. I wanna record another one.
My first time playing Nuke Yard, it happened, I think, about a year after Twist came into the team. We had a role swap on Nuke because we had a little bit of issues, so we swapped things around, and that's, I think it's in 2020, I went to play outside. I was always the door guy, so it was a little bit of a change up, but I definitely found my groove there, I feel like. I tried out Nuke outside for a while, back in the early days of like FaZe, until Nico came into the team. So I still had a little bit of experience, but everything had changed so much since then. So I came in basically like a rookie, but I definitely wanted to try it out. It's something I think fits me. There's a lot of open space, a lot of movement you can do. So I prefer the aggressive style, but it's not always you can run aggressive if you have, for example, Dunk on the other side, you know, waiting for you. So you have to play smart outside. Making sure some of your routines in the start of the game, like Molotov, HE, like flashes, aren't always the same. You should have some change-ups because it's very easy nowadays to see tendency players and find and use gaps from them. I think Nico, I watched a lot of his demos in the start, not demos, but games of his. I also watched Apex for spam timings. I think he is actually the most annoying guy to play against outside. He constantly finds spam timings, so I've copied the lineups from him and spams like that. I think the main switch up from coming from door to outside is definitely communication. You have to know, like, all the rotations kind of depends on what kind of information you give on Nuke. If they can be done secret, if they can wrap. There's so many gaps on Nuke that it's very hard to control everything by yourself. So you have to make sure that your team knows what is open, what is not open. The main guy I communicate with is Brookie, the upper, to make sure we kind of balance it out and we don't get stuck in the same position together. I think the key on Nuke outside at the moment is definitely the deep Molotov. I think actually I started doing this when I came. I threw it in practice a couple of times, and the team we played against, they had no idea what we were doing, like what they could do, because you can't just run through it. So the meta changed a lot with CS2. I think the smokes that we were throwing before are not really used as much anymore. I think the main one is, of course, the HE break. You have to be really good with your timings and careful with your timings as T. The way you have to play it now is either fast or very slow. Yes, it's hard to just walk across and play it like old CS. I think the hardest part is controlling the gaps. I think it's something that I'm still working on to this day. Making sure you make the outside guy very paranoid and uncomfortable. Because I think the second the T player gets comfortable on Nuke, the other team can start rolling, because he can create a lot of space and come with a lot of ideas to his side jump. I don't know if I have any highlights. I have a game against Navi in the major final. I think both CT side and CT side, I played it near perfection, I felt like. I went back and rewatched it, and I did study electronic a lot before that final, and I think I got his number during that game, and it worked out well.
Yeah. 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 Ooh. Everything I want. Everything I need. Got everything I want. Everything I want. Everything I need. Everything I
And we're back. Welcome back to our little sewer where you're all joining us here in the dirt. Because it's going to get down and dirty. FaZe is going to put this together with Rain having just come in, fresh off the plane, rocking on in. Fortunately, no jet lag. Don't have to worry about that. He's just the neighbor. He's one country over there.
Yeah.
So that one's nice and easy. But we're headed to Dust 2. And a silver lining here is 3D Max have been struggling on this map. They've already got a couple losses on Dust 2 here at the ESL Pro League. Is that at all concerning for you here, Cole?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like what we got out of FaZe here still was a little bit of intensity on those CT sides. We're able to, despite a slow start, build back into things, show some of that ability to unify there. Saw some great cohesion on the defense after that 1-5 start. If they can carry that forward here into Dust 2, if they can show a little bit more impact, which I just expect out of Kerrigan when it comes down to a T side, right? He should be bringing home a little bit more rounds than just, one gun round on Train. That just comes to the uncomfortability of that map and trying to switch things up with the last second adjustment. So I think that there's much more for FaZe here in this series, although for 3D Max you kind of talk about some of the struggles here. I still feel like despite the struggles can bring in a good Dust 2, right? This is a team that I think should be thriving. If you talk about a lot of spawn-based Counter-Strike, sometimes things don't go off their way, they get shut down and become a little bit readable, but that might not be as easy to do here for this FaZe Clan's side.
It is nice to see the man who's bringing change into the roster as well. Twist back in a FaZe jersey. For all the conversation about rain in, rain out, the overall picture is that this man's coming back home to FaZe. The home where he got another Grand Slam, where he won a major, where he pulled off some crazy things. Now back after 2 years in the Liquid jersey. It's pretty cool to see. We don't quite have the 3 Musketeers, but the 2 Musketeers, they're back in action here, Cole.
Yeah, and a very deadly duo right there when it comes down to it. I do like to see him back into the server. Talked about the adjustment here for FaZe, and I think, again, I guess I'm just not all that surprised to see them after the time with the Liege and kind of the vibes that were in that roster there.
Yeah.
To see them say, hey, I kind of want to draw some of what we had back, and they have that with Twist, and the same is true for his time on Liquid. Like, not very successful, to be honest with you, a very rough stint on that Liquid camp. So it feels like for both of those rosters, or both of those teams here and organizations, they kind of get to try and revise their mistakes. The issue is, a couple of years went by without that presence in the server, right? So you're getting towards the later stages of your career here now, and does present some questions. Still very young and can still build a lot, especially with Twist. The potential of the IGL in the future could make things interesting, but
that is an interesting conversation. At one point in time, people were having that tabbed as like you would potentially have this transition in the future of between Kerrigan and Twist, that handoff potential. We saw Twist dabble with the IGLing, which, it didn't quite work out to what his expectations were, but in retrospect, considering what else happened in Liquid, maybe that wasn't the worst part of his tenure there. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to build upon, as there have been overarching issues. I don't know. That's an eye towards the future.
Yeah.
We'll keep it our eye towards the present right now. And right now, what we've got is one last hurrah with Rain in the FaZe jersey. One last vintage performance from the guy who has defined this organization for a decade. Damn if that ain't a treat to see. Glad that we get a farewell tour here, knowing what's on the horizon, that we've still got Rain for the moment. Whether it'll be sunnier skies or cloudier skies or storms all the way, that we don't know. No. For the moment, we can focus on the here and now. And what we know is that 3D Max better have brought their umbrellas, because the desert calls for rain.
You're on Dust 2. We'll see if they can stop some of the power that he brings into the server.
Kind of crazy that 3D Max
Nice,
knew this
right?
was going to happen. I don't know if you noticed, but they have the word rain written on their jersey.
Yeah. In celebration, that's nice of them to honor their opponent here. That's outside the server. That's for the cosmetics. See what they could do inside of it. Frozen with a quick sideline. Exorcist, the guy that was locking it down on the CT side on that last map, is sidelined early. Still have a player inside the pit making things interesting. Maka next to a bat. Frozen still challenging here. Looked like he had his crosshair on the money. Instead of fadeaway from Maka. Finds another to keep things nice and even.
Picking up the mantle of the good for two. Someone had to get it out of that position. And now this is interesting, right? Because Kerrigan has kept some options open. He's making his way in towards B, and nobody's looking this direction from 3D Max. How would they expect this? So might be able to catch things off guard. Teammates rotating all the way through. Kerrigan saying, I have everything here.
Yeah, how active is Body going to be? Is he going to work his way in through the lower side and cut off the bomb? I'm just going to create some challenges.
Be huge. He'll hear the footsteps if they go loud with it. Shift pressed. No. They come off of it. Now he certainly knows. Able to drop the one, but not the second. So sacrificial rain works out still to get this bomb in towards the site. Now they got a flash to try and cross it. Looking for that plant. Holding Lucky at bay. Bomb going down. It's a 2-on-2 retake. But with at least that plant money secured now, Gravity and Lucky look to make their way back through. There's the check. Now the spot. They know a player's coming out of the tunnels, trying to keep him at bay. Lucky looking to make some space for his comrade. Now everybody knows what's happening through here, but Brokey's the one who finds the shot needed and the follow-up.
You'll just see a little bit of sacrifice there from Rain.
Remember
his teammates can get involved.
how it started on Train, though.
Yeah.
Did celebrations off of that pistol. Then there were some problems in the follow-up.
Yeah, a little bit more calmed down here in this pistol. More so focused on their own game plan. And it will be a forced buy, of course. So as you said, the challenge is going to be right back thrown in their face. Scout in the play for Maka. And looking for duels any way possible. Fighting in towards lower. Getting scared off of sticking around for too long. FaZe taking space with conviction. Not hesitating on the mid control. They know that the clock can be a challenge towards the tail end of these rounds. Running through the smoke as well. Forcing him off a catwalk. So FaZe without any hesitation. Going to take full ground on Cat. Collapse on middle. And set up early. And just give themselves a lot of options in a round like this, which I think is so important. You can work up catwalk. You can throw your execute if you need to. You have a long lurk. You have given over no real map control just yet. Now you do start to see the scale towards long, and that can create some problems. This is well-timed aggression coming through from Exorcist, but it's going to require big defense out of the scout.
Nice nadage. Oh, good impact off the 5-7. Lucky is making a mess of this for FaZe. Bomb toppled on the ground, and now Gravity brings them crashing down. It falls to Frozen now. To try and pick up the pieces of this one, as again the force play seems to have thwarted them damage on, and Gravity able to swing back in with that picked up AK. Devastation for FaZe. Complete collapse in middle. And now there will be no celebration, no good feels off of that one. FaZe need to go searching for some answers.
Yeah, that's just devastating right there. They try and work their way up catwalk. They drop a player towards CT, really collapse in on middle and trying to attack mid to B, but that's where a decent stack was. A lot of resistance ready to go, but a big kickoff from Kerrigan and his scout. Dropping the op to the floor there, trying to get a recovery. Needing to lift off here. Rifle being dropped to the floor and Body not relenting. Constantly pressing forward, tags down. Twist here with an early damage. Max feeling a bit of the panic.
Maybe perhaps. No need to do so just yet, though Body will want to avoid getting completely overwhelmed. Surprised he's committing further into this. Looking for a reposition, get his gun back over, thinking, hey, you know, if they're going to come storming through this with pistols, maybe I do actually want more bullets.
Also making it probably feel like there's a lot of attention towards middle right now. It's an op and a rifle that you're getting shot at by, so if you're FaZe, you're thinking maybe there's a weak side on this B side of the map here. Gravity.
If he drops,
I mean, what is this jiggle from Kerrigan? It feels like he's locked in a position, but this off angle almost surely gets overlooked.
This is the round. Gravity has no one close at hand. He has to find maybe both of these kills, really, to get them back into this. To hold this in doubt. That scope's going to reveal one found. There's the second. Kerrigan put on a platter, and Gravity holds. Now his teammates in towards mid, make sure nobody else can threaten. It's all on to Brokey, who needs to die before this timer runs out. 15 seconds. Brokey better do something on this smoke fade. Can't influence the round. Can't find any damage to boot. 3D Max. Hold up.
Gravity placing a lot of faith in himself here. His teammates on the other side of the map. Such a scary sign right there for 3D Max to let go of the lead that they are able to establish now. Deal with the force buy, with the only single casualty being that Kerrigan's kickoff with a scout to make a statement. Now it's just going to be Glocks in play here. 3D Max is going to control the momentum in the early stage of another map. Make FaZe's life difficult. You know, back-to-back starts here with the pistol success, and then FaZe missing out on the opportunity to get that 3-0. Still got a little bit of time for recreation, even though it's back to the shift.
Look, man. He's got a whole lot more time these days for some recreation, at least for the moment. Was very pleased to see. We'll talk about it in a moment as the action comes through. All right, we're good. Very pleased to see that in Rain's statement that he still very much intends to continue here. There's always that question. Not that his... Look, for as long as Rain has been in this roster, he's younger than I am. He's only 30. There's plenty of time to adapt, to adjust. We still see plenty of flashes from Rain as well. But pleased to see that he has chosen to keep going here. And that he's considering a swap into the IGL role, which is very interesting to me.
Listen, I think anyone that has that sort of experience playing with, you know, the great leadership that he's been able to play alongside, so
yeah,
pick up on some of those details, and I think any team can benefit from that sort of leadership aspect. So a very level head, right? So
Ray'll also say, I have no idea what his prospects are, what his options could be, or what he wants to do. But one of those evolutions that you do like to see is that there's a world where you could see Rain maybe bring that experience into the Norwegian scene. Maybe use that to coach up some younger prospects, maybe give them that experience. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know nothing. Body. Can't see nothing. But Maka, quick on the scope, trying to get some teammates back around here. They'll keep him alive. He's got that smoke to play off of, and through the door, they're hunting Kerrigan. They want to get this retake off to a bang, and Kerrigan will be limiting it. Still, Maka makes this a possibility.
Do you want to go for this
up.
3v3?
They've got lots of util, right? 3 smokes, 2 incendiaries. They're trying to section off these plays. They've got the positioning. It's just he's getting into the spot on tunnels. They're giving it a look.
Gotta get a move on. They're gonna time themselves out. I think they might have just felt enough of that. Aggression baited out, but they are bailing. They're gonna look for kills instead. Brokey gonna fight his way out of this position, and they will find everyone. Not enough time for the defuse, though. So gonna give it an op recovery, and not the worst way to lose there. Pick up an AWP, hold on to an AK, take everyone down to the other end of the server.
Yeah. Makes it a bit of a Pyrrhic victory here for FaZe, where they're going to have such a haggard buy into this next one that this becomes a huge point of emphasis. Yes, you won, but you have to follow it up. There's Tech9's out, there's Galil's, there's imperfect util. You're making some sacrifices.
There's a double op here as well. That's the sort of money they were left off into.
Oh boy, Maka's hungry. This is bold.
Maka plays like this, I think it can be a big scale tilter, either in your favor or against you.
Yeah, good to get away.
You're on dust too.
He was really taking some risks with that one. But the clock in his head says they're probably going to clear lower now. I should get the heck out of Dodge. And so no harm, no foul, no gain. But body, back sight. Oh boy. Range is giving him a pixel.
And they're starting to react off that. HE donking down some damage early, forcing them
Does he want to hunt in?
to a little bit of an awkward position, and decisions need to be made here. They throw a flashbang, they throw a little bit of a threat, but there is going to be that body aggression. Have to dance around this pillar here if you're frozen, and he gets around the corner just in time here. Reaction is a flashbang and a molly.
This is crazy.
Off the aggro, but they know there's so many resources in tunnels right now.
It feels like we're just dancing with the X-rays. It's shadow boxing, right? Of course, they cannot see the outlines, to be clear. Everybody watching. Serious shadow boxing on the cave wall. Twist, tagged.
Oh my god!
Damage being done. This time, Maka cannot escape. Lucky with that HE, though. Will stall them out just a little bit, but that gives time for Kerrigan to come through. And now with it, 3D Max are going to back away. This time, it's conclusive. FaZe, they win, even with that limited weaponry, even with the health bars that we're seeing. They get the round, and that's what matters. Now some upgrades can even be salvaged and all picked up as well. And FaZe, this one's looking a whole lot stronger of a round win.
Yeah, big pickup right there. I mean, they had very limited options. They had very little utility, and they used it a lot to force back the aggression from body. And instead, without the flashes, without the utility, they have to test the waters and see if Maka's going to miss on catwalk. He does connect his op shot, but it's only a leg shot. It's only a little bit of chip damage. And so they take their time. The only window of opportunity that they really have to deal with Maka. Take full advantage right there. That's such a difficult round. But when they seize these opportunities, you can see not allowing for that Opper to escape. When you don't have the flashes, think about the chances Maka's going to have if he gets around that corner to pluck op shots off and dwindle the numbers of FaZe. Instead, things get tied up and they win a round without really losing anything.
Well, timeout coming out through. Coach of 3D Max, getting on the microphone. Understanding that their opportunities are going to be limited here. That this is where their own money could break and is under threat. And this is where you start to see that momentum swell for FaZe. Don't let them get that energy. If they get too much going, that tennis ball on the desk for 3D Max might get hucked over. Good distraction. It's like a HE in real life.
Yeah.
Knock a hand off him.
Chaos.
Cause an international incident here.
You could, that should be a part of a show match, I feel like. A little bit of
Like dodgeballs?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could do dodgeball.
We're cooking, man. We're cooking. The little foam balls. XLC has tagged Kerrigan out. And he's not allowed to catch any balls on the sideline, so he can't get himself back in this round. He'll have to wait.
Oh my gosh. Sam almost working perfectly here, trying to thread in an angle, but they're going to go on the edge of this smoke. Here's a big visual granted for Maka. Such a thin angle, but dealing with the jump up from Frozen. The advantage gets amplified now into a 5v3. Smoke recycled as well, so mid to B doesn't feel like much of an option right now. The defense is holding onto the utility, especially towards that B site. You can see the block utility for Gravity. Still smoke molly. HE as well. FaZe going to have to shoot their way out of a challenging spot here.
So do we make it in this show match? We seem to have a little second of time here. Do we make it so that you can always throw dodgeballs at your opponents? Or is it like only once you're knocked out?
Like you get 2 kills in a round.
You unlock the dodgeball.
A dodgeball throw or something like that.
I'm thinking if you get knocked out early, maybe it's like a handicap. If you keep dying, you unlock the dodgeball prowess. Twist trying to make some inroads here. Balls or no. He knows ball, but he doesn't know that Maka's in the back of the site. Still, headshots landing and Brokey doing damage as well. The bomb can be planted, and this is a very different game we're playing now. Still a Molotov for Twist. He's gonna buy extra time on this retake. 2 incendiaries to try and get back through, but no kits critically. I don't know if one's down. There is one down by the fence. That will be tough to retrieve in time. Everything hangs on the edge, and the incendiaries choose the wrong spot. One backside would have caused problems for the op, but instead now it's all clean. What a round for Twists and Brokey, reunited and causing nightmares for their opponents once again.
Yeah, there's so much trust right there between that duo to get the job done in such a challenging spot there. That's a 3v5 to kick this round off. Maka looking clean with the AWP. but out overexposed for Gravity, that threading kills there. Brokey knowing that he has to get more active. And those are the sort of rounds that can spark a FaZe comeback here, not only in this map, but in this series, starting to get the T-side rolling. Despite the man deficits, they're going to have to do it again. Twist this time sidelined early.
This is familiar. Maka thinking, surely this time it works.
I think I don't know if they keep blocking that smoke. I'd have to imagine that's kind of the case there. Maka blocking it at the early stages of the round, and then Twist thinking it's safe there, turns the corner, and just a nice shot.
Certainly some sort of a flaw to the approach in towards the middle now that we've seen back-to-back exploits there. Gonna require some adjustment.
After those opening picks, they do...
Oh my.
Is there a
flashbang? There's a flashbang. He goes through. Kerrigan's so blind. That's massive. An upgrade available, but trying to grab that gun leaves himself overexposed. So advantage minimized, at least for the moment, and now they're going to try and use that opportunity to get in towards B. There's still 2 players here, though, in the defense. That's a Rain rebuffed. I'll have to take a moment, take a pause. There's going to be a smoke. There is going to be a split in towards B. This is going to be the challenge, and none of the A players adjusting just yet means that it is onto this twosome.
Oh gosh, yeah, body's so exposed right now. Fortunate that they're tossing utility out before they make their move. Body has to prepare himself and instantly getting stunned by the shots that are being landed. Rain cracking things open, nothing out of body either. Clean entries. 3D Max finding themselves turtling on the bomb site. Completely exposed, and I mean, you're seeing initiative out of Maka to try this retake, but again, no kits, and this time, no utility. You've got to back out.
Yeah.
FaZe continue working this B side.
No way to justify it, especially because of how important the AWP has been for getting these early advantages. It's not winning them the rounds, but he is making it a little easier for them, so keeping that AWP alive, going to be critical here. Sudden Rain's call on the B site, and that is FaZe building on this first half of play.
Yeah, they're getting full advantage of the lack of presence towards middle right now. I mean, this is kind of a theme that we're seeing out of 3D Max. Maybe this is a tendency of the struggles on this map for this squad, but they're able to work the early round towards middle. Later down the line, they're always seemingly concerned about how they deal with middle. You can see Body splitting his attention towards middle. He's kind of side turned towards Tons, and when they end up walking out, so much damage done. Another man advantage.
You'd imagine at some point you might have to start shading some coverage from the A site, but the problem with that round was getting caught on Cat. Trying to get your grubby mitts on that AK, costing you a life, meaning that you can't shade the coverage that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends on how much you can really trust your operator. And right now, Maka's able to do a lot of damage with that op, so you want your rifle being able to split his attention in between Catwalk and CT and help out with those mid-to-B attacks, but that doesn't seem to be a luxury. As you said, sometimes with the advantages that are picked up, you lose out that player, but...
It's interesting as well, with the AWP moving off, now there was no problem with that smoke, so I would imagine that is a little bit of a header coming through. Maka, focus here on long. You're going to have to deal with him again. He's going to connect, but can't get away. The rifle was close up, and XLC's dropped as well into the dumpster. Twists a 2-piece, and a Molotov going for Lucky. He has to face, but Twist isn't covering his own utility. Now the Tunnels player lost. Things get very interesting indeed. Kerrigan trying to find some space towards mid, but that gap is covered, and it falls to Rain. The man was on his way out, called back for one last hurrah with the squad, now has it all to do. And so Rain, with 45 seconds to cook, will start to pick up the pieces out towards long. Has a smoke to enable the cross, but wants to see if he could peel away a kill first. So he's doing this dry, looking for the fight. Now he's got the spot. Now the smoke will cover. Nobody's got vision spotted. The next in towards CT. That nade might do it.
Oh
the
my
shots
God.
certainly will. He's piecing this one together. He's made the cross. A Molotov to ensure the safety on the catwalk, leaving some risk towards Gandalf, but no one's there to check him on it. So the bomb now ticking away, and Rain will advance forward. The Viking of this roster, another headshot dealt out, and Rain dispelled at the wrong moment. Nearly put together another master class. But for the moment, it is 3D Max that manages to inch this round over the line.
All right, Gravity, the force that makes it work there for 3D Max. Able to bring that clutch on in there, spotting out Rain. The quick trade required, able to save the day and get them back on board. That was one of the more difficult rounds there as well for 3D Max. It felt like everything working for FaZe this time around, and then the roles reverse.
Just tremendous what he's able to do as well, right? You could see him putting the pieces together, locating the two players, getting himself the information, punishing them for it, ready for that last fight. So close to bringing through a brilliant performance, a vintage Rain clutch. But we will have to wait. Op exchange in middle this time, not punishing. And Mako once again thinking about the long approach. Just smoke up. There's a gap in it. There's a gap in it. It's not perfect. So these catwalk players need to be a little bit wary. But there's no op around to punish them. It'll be the rifle instead, and Rain. Well, he was the casualty, but his life is exchanged, so maybe worth the price.
Yeah, again, these situations where it's difficult to rotate, it's where FaZe have been able to thrive in a missed op shot from Mach. He's not falling. He has to, though. He can't stick around for forever, and he's going to have to concede that A-bomb site.
Throwing that flash like it's a molly. That doesn't stop them. They can keep going. So this time fading away. And now the positioning is really rough for this retake. No presence out towards long. They know the op dropped in towards CT, so they're not very wary of those sight lines, though they are respecting them. But a fight on the catwalk if they find this first casualty as they go for the boost up. That Incendiary's a little too deep. But the kills come up for 3D Max, and now suddenly they need a hero on the FaZe side. Kerrigan going to take matters into his own hands. But a flashbang to keep him uncomfortable. He fights forward knowing that he needs his space. Dancing with Lucky eventually comes up, but the time is the issue, and Brokey dancing around the boxes might just have enough of it. XLCs can't find that C4. This round is lost. It's FaZe with 6. Though the kills go the way of the French squad, there are no survivors.
Just enough time being bought from Brokey there in those close range opping duels with the chaos is enveloping the site. That is where he thrives. Those quick flicks and reactions to show up when they need to. And honestly, Kerrigan being so elusive in the smoke as well forces so much length there before Lucky finally can push the smoke. There's the realization kicking in there that FaZe can continue to build on this T side. Another timeout entering into the mix, though. This time on FaZe's side of things there. Their T side, I mean, again, consistently catching Maka in a position in which you can see the pressure he puts on his shoulders. When forced off of the line, you can see the hesitancy or the feeling that he had to make a play right there to defend Catwalk. And I think he's right? You have to be able to bring home those kills. You have to be able to find that impact with the op. And he knew he wasn't going to have time to reposition to get a second chance.
It is part of what went into the decision-making to move the leadership over to Gravity instead of Maka, right? Was to free him up, to be that impact player, to be that difference maker, as we know he can be. And in that moment, unable to deliver. Fast play in the lower tunnel, needing to do something a little unorthodox here with the limitations that 3D Max have to contend with. And at least for the moment, FaZe were expecting such aggression. The 3D Max classic, right? So FaZe, they've seen this one before.
Good round to settle the nerves. After coming down to the wire there, coming down to the clutch, they sit and spawn, waiting for aggression. And we'll see them start to reclaim some control. The diligence on the flashes here. If you're 3D Max, you're starting to realize the picture. Inside the long smoke for Exorcist. Not into the open arms of Twist, though. The smoke gets recycled. Long is kind of off limits at the moment.
It's an attempted information denial, right? And for the moment, at least, yes, FaZe don't have a lot of info, but they are still choosing correctly. Catwalk is wide open. That's a sacrifice you have to make to try and stack up towards either sites. Or long, as the case may be for the A players.
This round called off the back of a timeout here. You're going to feel a lot of confidence. That unity coming through makes this team so deadly. Everyone believing in the leadership, believing in each other here in this roster, and a perfectly called out round to make your life easy in this round. Now, getting out of it alive can be a challenge when everyone's playing Contain on 3D Max.
Also something that Rain wanted to emphasize in an appearance over on HLTV Confirmed was Holy cow, hold on, we gotta focus right back in. 3D Max have tipped these scales back their way. Now it falls to Frozen to be the hero, not able to contend. And oh my goodness, how is that so quick? Ruthless, magical, defuse on plenty of time. Maybe no blame in the overall picture, but in that round, definitely some mistakes made from FaZe. They just melted on the hold.
They thought it was over. You look at how Rain's just running around the site, and that's the difference maker. 3 kills instantly to spring them into action. I mean, I don't blame them for thinking that they had that one locked down, but that wasn't the case here. 3D Max were probably playing for exits. They were probably seeing if they would get exit kills there on the way out of the round. Instead, they find all of the kills necessary. 4 AKs picked up here, and a lifeline granted to this French squad.
Bit of carelessness will cost you, just as the good feelings are starting to build here for FaZe. You get your legs swept out from under you. And now flat on the mat. Got to pick yourself back up. Let's see if you can't recover. One more round in this half.
More B execute here with a little bit of mid presence. They're bread and butter throughout this half as well. See if they can make it work with, again, limitations on Gravity's support system. They do put a lot of emphasis towards middle and a lot of shots being spammed down range. Inside the smoke here, Gravity run and gun with the AK. Looking to put the finishing touches on this half. Shouldn't have too many troubles dealing with Brokey. Dodging the bullets, somehow evading the spam. Knives are out for Maka. Having a good old time of it.
Look, he stays alive for a moment, but this would be the most obscene round yet from Brokey. A Deagle, 24 health, just trying to dodge the bullets, and Maka will run him down. All tied at the half.
And we're back here with the second half of play. Fantastic work coming through in the late stages from 3D Max, but FaZe keeping them busy on the T side there. See how the second half plays out. The pistol rolling on up. Do you have a T side? We got a little bit of utility being brought into the mix here. Some mollies. Flash here on the side of Exorcist. And what do they have visualized here for this T side in 3D Max?
Thank you for that catch, Ficole. I just had to choke down the last crumbs of my granola bar there. Get a little sustenance here, because it seems like this one is going to require some extra calories to bring it the justice it deserves.
See what they could bring. Those calories here, looking to burn off some weight there with the Exorcist. Trying to bring in a little bit of energy running out towards middle, but that's a missed smoke, I'd have to imagine. Not really doing them justice. And the mid to B side of things. Getting locked out now, and Brogy gets to use that to his advantage.
A moment of pause. A breather here. Feels like a rare thing. We've had a lot of relentless fighting through that first half of play.
I have another smoke and another molly as well, so could just toss that one downrange again. Smoke. I don't see where it went there. It went into Maka's hands instead. He's going to be the one throwing the mid to B, but I think we have our idea of where this round's finishing.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. No information long, not worrying too much about the catwalk. Turns out when you can see all 10 dots on the board, it's a little easier to read. Why don't IGLs just try this one weird trick?
Some do.
Unfortunately, some of them do. That is a problem. Big problem for Twist, leaving it to Frozen to solve. One man back of the site getting run down, and wow, he does get two. Maybe above expectation. It falls into a 2-on-2 as this bomb still needed to be planted down, and as they fight forward, well, there's no chance to do so. What a recovery. Frozen sets them up, and his teammates are up to the task.
I saw $100 left in someone's bank account, $450 in another's. That is a tough ending to the round right there. They run out of time a little too slow. And a series again where the expectation is that 3D Max keep these T sides as quick as can be. They run the clock down all the way to 0 on the pistol and punished in the ultimate way. 2 Glocks on the force by double scouts in the mix.
Well, now you have no choice but to chase this just to get your money even, just to get it evened out. And you did a great job of evening it out at the end of that first half, but now work still to be done. Mock up. Trying to chase this up with the scout, knowing it's a huge opportunity to tag on to Twist, but overexposed chasing that. And so it's the next scout up to the table. This is a good headshot angle for a scout. Recognizing that, Broky does. Waits for a flashbang, plays off of his teammate's utility. Textbook right there, beautifully done from FaZe.
There's your full force buy right there, shattered. Blown up in smoke there, not a lot of ground being gained. And a force buy that included 2 Glocks because of the problems that they faced on the pistol. Going to allow FaZe to get off to a dream start in this defense. Exactly what this team needed to get revived. You know, get a pistol and actually be able to get the follow-up off the back of it. That is...
Is that allowed?
That's allowed here. Some
Must be a new patch.
Surprise on the FaZe side, but they will claim it, and they'll do so with comfort here. Now, maybe not so easy in the follow-up.
No, don't.
You can also win this round 2, FaZe. You just gotta close it out.
Don't want the force buy to lose to the actual pistols. Come on now. There's an extra stage to this procedure. All calm now, all calm. Still very little to work with for 3D Max. Although that nade.
Oh.
That's helpful.
Wow.
Thank you.
Really
Delivery.
Lift a finger for that one.
I think that's a DHL drop right there.
Yeah. Delivered right to his doorstep.
Everyone's talking about drone delivery, express delivery. What about explosive-based delivery? When are we jettisoning these packages?
Another gun as well. There's 2 that were available. MP9 also picked up. It is an open B bomb site. I am getting a little nervous for FaZe. Just as they start to re-clear mid, it's going to be freebies now towards the B side.
Freebies for these 3Bs.
Now 2B. Back for Frozen.
That's a bomb.
He's able to cut it off in time. Safe pair of hands. There is Frozen. Ready to close out this round. Body left standing here, but again, running out of time and contained here.
Yeah, time to go die. comes a moment in every Counter-Strike player's life where they just need to get the round over with. FaZe just wanted to make things interesting. Just wanted to keep us guessing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, good awareness right there to turn back in time. If he doesn't get back in, and they're already out into that site, and he gets caught surprise, something of that nature. You think of that headshot box as well being a very deadly position. That's a much more difficult round to work through. AWP in the mix, but Brokey wins it. Not fooled by the decoy. Steps in, fights an opening fight here, and no utility to deal with. Brokey going for more. Brokey wants it all. 3 kills exploding in the round here. Now he got to challenge another offer, shut down by Exorcise. But a masterful 3K here to set the tone for how these gun rounds are going to look. Brokey not going to give you an inch.
Finally, they cool him off, but that was quite the hot start to the round. FaZe double fighting in towards tunnels. And now this is a huge problem, right? Because Lucky's gone looking instead of picking up the C4. And so if this excursion takes FaZe all the way towards lower, there might be huge problems here for 3D Max. Lucky's not aware. Lucky's not ready for this. Lucky's not ready for this. Now he's adjusted, realizing that was always open, and fortunately for him, Twists is holding this as a little bit more of a backstop to set Frozen up for the long flank. So for the moment, at least, 3D Max are forgiven their carelessness, but now Twist starts to look, and just in time for Lucky's crosshair to find his dome.
With that, I mean, at least it's going to shift up the positioning here, but they're still walking in to this A side. Kerrigan having second thoughts, though.
The idea is to dump that utility to try and stall them up a little bit for Frozen to get in position, but you almost wish you were trading positions, right? Frozen has all that stall out nades, and he can't do anything with it here. It's all about the flank for him, so Kerrigan and Rain are going to have to fight this without the privilege of their teammate joining them. Nice nade on, but a jump up from Kerrigan forces the issue and buys that extra chunk of time.
All in play right there from Kerrigan, denying the plant, making sure that they can't set their feet in the post. Throwing that round up. A bit of a risk, but I mean, risk taking all the way through for Brokey. An absolute fearlessness on every fight. Showing up here with a masterful 3K. Only to get shut down by the second op that gets picked up, the one he dropped early. Beautiful work, and that's just going to build up confidence for the remainder of this Dust 2. If that's how you start off with the first time you bring in the op on your CT side, you're going to be going for that play over and over again. You're going to be threading in aggression all over the map, and that's going to be what FaZe are so willing to play around here at this point. They've got their win condition for the CT side and can continue to run with that.
Space taken towards middle. This is pressure onto the B players here on the scaffolding. Brokey still comes out with one. Doing the maximum out of his position, but eventually the pinch is going to come in. Do they realize there's still a Frozen here?
Oh my god.
Gravity certainly does. Understand the situation. That means the bomb can't get planted down, though. Gravity was thinking like he might want to fight. Now falls for just one, and Exorcise not just good for 2. 4 stacked up to keep 3D Max in the mix here.
The Exorcise just having free fires. Teammates were causing distractions, forcing FaZe into a panic. A trio of defenders here on this B bomb site, broken down. Piece by piece, Brokey with the op. When he finds that kill, you think, okay, now you're going to see the commitment on the mid defense. They're probably going to sacrifice B, but they get caught in between 2 mines, and just the right amount of aggression out of Exorcise. Using his teammates. Drawing the attention here. Gravity not forced off by the molly, but it's FaZe trying to close the distance with their SMGs. Don't have the best purchase coming into this round. So MP9s have to make do, and long control early. Even though they lose tunnels, they take the reaction towards long, and well, I'm just going to give long space here. Just the threat of it alone going to draw out the rotations necessary, and they leave Frozen on an island. Complete gamble. You can understand the idea, the vision from FaZe, right? They know that long was where they were fielding a lot of pressure early, didn't hear a lot towards B when they took full tons control, so Now they're going to start to re-clear a long spot out nothing, and you can get the rotations back in time, but are they going to be quick enough here? Because Body's already setting up utility to run out into the site.
Yeah, here comes the hit. Frozen has to deliver. Kerrigan's been lost in towards mid as well. Frozen with the 1, the second as well. Again, maximizing what he can in a very tough spot, but it's going to take a while for FaZe to get the numbers around to actually be able to do this retake.
No HP for Rain. No kits in the server right now. Only an HE is their utility to break on through, so wouldn't be all that surprised to see him find some upgrades.
Yeah.
Try and get off those MP9s and call this one a day.
Could even play for exits maybe to maximize those SMGs, but it's just too far away. They weren't close enough to give this a risk. They didn't have the utility. FaZe have to concede in 8th. This gap starts to shrink just a little bit.
Looks like a round where I see Gravity get into the head right there and jump the reactions, kind of figure out what the next step is from FaZe and beat him to the punch here. Exits could be interesting though. Rain is going to find one. Nice connection. HE does enough damage to complete the kill onto Lucky. And the only gun being saved is an AWP upgraded AK as well.
That's
so
really nice.
FaZe, with their lead established, saving 3 guns, picking up the AK towards the tail and doing a lot of damage. Not the end of the world.
And every dollar is going to count here as well in terms of getting utility up, right? So you get those kills off of the SMGs, you get a little bit of that extra kill reward bump. It ain't bad. Still going to be no op. Not available. Can't put that one on layaway. Gravity.
Saving nothing for later.
Oh my goodness.
Working some real estate towards middle.
This could be huge. Rand's coming back to it, but
I'd
if the
imagine
smoke
he
comes
heard those
up,
footsteps.
someone's going to have to make a move.
They're outbeat. Inside the lurk smoke.
Oh
Lucky's
boy.
already pouncing on this B site.
Past him. Frozen doesn't know. Frozen does know. Frozen's realized in the nick of time, now dropping back in. It's chaos in the smokes. This is madness. This is pandemonium. And even with that space in towards middle, with that kill found from Gravity, now he's just trying to call them off, trying to bail out. They still got a minute 10. They've got some time. But somehow, in all that madness and all that space taking, it's kind of come out to status quo.
Yeah, I think both teams willing to handshake that was enough chaos that we don't want to mess around with anything further. I mean, 3D Max Lucky, they didn't really walk away with much more damage.
Well, no, they don't walk away with Lucky. But everybody else is still alive. And now a couple kills in towards middle, opening up this map entirely. Take your pick. It's going to be one defender towards either side. Who do they want to tango with? Well, now one of those dance partners is no longer available. It's all onto Kerrigan, and they are bringing things his way. But he's got to pull off some sick moves right now. 25 seconds. They're running from him. They are terrified. Kerrigan, the captain of this squad, might still be able to tip these scales, but Maka is ready. Guards the path, and 3D Max will not let this primo opportunity slip away from them.
Full advantage right there taken by the side of 3D Max in the heat of the moment. I mean, in this moment, you expect Frozen to walk away with a traded death, and he is able to escape with the smokes, and I think it's such a luxury for 3D Max to create the panic in the rotations that FaZe had to go with when you have a player that is that deep out into the P-bomb site. You get those rotates rolling in a heartbeat, and that does leave them trying to get back towards that A side, realizing that they've been fooled, that they've been duped. And again, it's more of that case here that Gravity is keeping up with such a huge challenge in this head-to-head. Even with Kerrigan in this environment where he's dealing with the stand-in situation, getting Rain back involved, we know that's a specialty of his. And Gravity, to an inexperienced IGL, having to deal with those challenges effectively so far, could tie things up right here.
And this is where things get real scary for FaZe. I mean, their impact in this round somehow still, again, I want to give huge kudos to Frozen.
Unbelievable.
He keeps getting put into insanely difficult spots, and he keeps finding something more than he should in every single moment, it feels like, but it's just not enough to be a difference maker here against 3D Max.
You don't want it to feel like empty calories here in the mix. You want to make sure that these have their impact. When he's finding those multi-kills on the B-bomb site and bring home those defenses, it is in situations where if he goes down without, even more, it could be a disaster.
Don't go out that threshold. Don't cross that doorway, Frozen. We see what's waiting for you. It's a swift death. Sticking around here where it's nice and cozy in the tunnels. Out of the hot sun.
They're putting a lot on the hunting party here. Frozen is in the exact right area.
He's thinking about it. Don't go around that corner. All good. Good discipline. He's going to thread the needle and keep that gun alive. We're tied up, though. And this is getting very scary for FaZe. It was looking good for moments on Dust 2, but this could be the 2-0 coming back the other way for the French squad.
Yes, hanging in there, man. A difficult matchup. You're seeing FaZe collapse in. That start from Brokey at the first gun round felt like such a statement that they were ready to take us into a quick third map. Instead, we got a little bit more action, some intensity, some fearlessness now coming through from the 3D Max camp. They're running down middle once again. I know that Brokey likely on the other end of the server has an op in play. They're not worried about it. Not even a smoke for doors here. Instead, Brokey on the catwalk, and he still does his damage. A big-time opening. HE's slowed down the pace, although not doing as much damage here.
Ow.
In a position to stabilize the round.
Where'd that nade go?
I don't know.
Hit him on the shoulder?
It landed in his face.
I'm so confused. All right, well, magical mystery nade. But Brokey, at least, will keep Body from getting away with that one. Bomb looking to be planted, but taking some risks here in the duel up against Kerrigan. You know Kerrigan likes to force these issues. He slipped his way back towards Goose. This might not be expected. That's a hell of a find. The boost up over the smoke. Rain gone. But on these smoke fades, it's Kerrigan who could just be the difference maker. The nade pop reveals. And Kerrigan comes out the worst for the wear. Brokey down, trying to find nades. It falls to Maka, but he cannot hold.
Oh, man. The intensity of that round. You can feel it right there for FaZe. Walking away, barely surviving. Knowing the pressure, that 3v5 turning on a dime with the shots connected out of Makazap. And when he's in that position in the late round, he starts to float. He starts to get comfortable. FaZe Clan still able to close it out. The damage done. Again, Brokey on these gun rounds, being the win condition, set his team up in that 5v3. Almost not enough there. Just a little smirk out of Rain. And when he's fighting for survival in that last round, but hanging in there, getting 11. You need to find these follow-up 2. Damage being done here, and somehow Exorcist able to thread aggression out towards long, taking heavy fire underneath the microscope. But that HE, he still survives. Their mystery HEs are going, disappearing again.
What they pack those HEs with?
Duds.
They brought the wrong ones. They were bringing those dodgeballs we were talking about earlier, and on the edge of this smoke, twists. Can't finish the first, does eventually, but 1-for-1, a lot less impactful. Brokey trying to figure out his maneuvering, but over the box, Maka expects. It falls to Frozen. Back at the site, nothing doing this time when they needed him most. This is where 3D Max cracked through. Tied up once more, and this time the money will be that much rougher for the wear. Look, FaZe fans, it would not be a vintage FaZe performance, a classic, if we didn't go all the way, right down to the wire. But the question is this FaZe, with a man recalled right back off the bench as soon as his ass touched it, able to pull off such theatrics? Are they capable of the nail-biting win?
It's a question you got to ask here. Is Kerrigan able to hold on to this gun? No, it's ripped out of his hands at the tail end. Just at the right time. Able to take that last little bit out. And they're going to need to muster up some of that magic here. They're playing up against 11s now. With bad purchases coming up in the next. The gun's going to be limited. The utility going to be left worse for wear. This last kill from Body staying tuned in to this matchup in a timeout. Or they might be playing more towards that OT. Not a full investment here, not the aggressive calls coming out of Kerrigan. Instead, a half buy. And 3D Max could just pass them in the 23rd.
Tension mounting, weighing down on the shoulders of FaZe here. The triumphant return of Twists, at risk of being sullied. The final hurrah with Rain
Oh my god.
Not going to plan. And Twists down and done in this one. What is more FaZe than pulling off a bullshit Deagle round? Well, if they're going to do this one, you might have to bring that bomb towards the A, and that's exactly where it's headed just for this moment. Players stacking up on the catwalk. Everybody's here.
Oh
and
my
the
God.
invitations to the party are out. Kerrigan with 3. Captain of the squad and Fragger supreme in this moment when they needed it most. But there's more work to do. That bomb is dropped in their vision. Nades to block, flashes to distract, and Maka to clean up these kills. But look at the health. Body shots will be enough. And this man, Brokey, is setting up to deliver. Over the box, a walkout. That's what he wants to risk. Thinks better of it, backs away. And so 3D Max for the moment are going to be able to gain some ground.
What?
Maka wants to make a move of his own. Brokey expects this, though! And though it takes many shots, they do land. Down to the clutch, lucky to punch in those numbers. Utility at hand, and Brokey's misread this. He thinks it's going the other way. He stops for a gun. Now he's going back, realizing his mistake, whittling away precious seconds. Certainly no kit in this one, but well worth the risk now as Brokey creeps closer. Both players damaged up. Brokey a little bit higher in the health spots the player. Now he's got the info, but Lucky swings in! And so Magic denied! Brilliance! Limited, controlled, contained by 3D Max. The most FaZe of moments slips them on by. They will have one more chance here. One more chance to bring us to more rounds, to bring us into OT.
It felt exactly like how you'd write it up right there for FaZe to just slip on by and take us a distance. Instead, 3D Max show one more ounce of resiliency and rip it away from them. The last sliver they could have dreamed of. 3 Deagle shots from Kerrigan on catwalk.
It's not elimination on the line at this point, but a slip into the O2 pool sets dire stakes in every remaining match potential for FaZe, and if they can't win this round, that is their fate. A far from triumphant start to their reunion with Twists, but still time to rewrite that script here and now on Dust 2. One round to restore the faith. One round to change their fortunes.
Position where they can do so here. Can they get caught? Surprised. 3D Max making their decision. Leaning up the catwalk here. Gonna try and challenge the AWP presence for Brokey. He's focused in on long for now. In the meantime, goes back and turns his vision here. A lot of emphasis on where Lucky can do in this lurking position, and how much fight do they give him here?
They don't have any of the Molotovs to clear out this spot. It's going to be a hard fight for them, and they've got the right read. It's Brokey that they have to challenge, but they'll wait for those initial pops of the smoke, and again, they're just so limited in what they have available. If Brokey goes down, it's going to be so hard to hold this, and the flashes blind him, block him off. The bomb still needs to cross, and Lucky misses his opportunity. So numbers at least in favor of FaZe now, but that bomb is getting planted, and Maka wants to end this quick on the scope. Evens out the numbers. Brokey the point man here. They want to brawl out towards long. Gravity brings one low. It's all onto Brokey and Frozen, and make that just one man who cannot survive. They brought it right to the wire. They brought it to the distance. It was looking like a FaZe classic. But the classics stay on the shelf sometimes for a reason. 3D Max write this next chapter. They move up to the 1-1 pool. FaZe will have to battle back. It's elimination from here on out in the Pro League that has started off with anything but smooth roads.
That's going to have to start through on the 0 and 2 side of things. 3D Max able to elevate on the T side of Dust 2, showing signs of struggle early on when Brokey's able to deliver those aggressive kills.